Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I am your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering a message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, is a piece of God. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God is the master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by us, produced by the Society of Knowledge. The Society is an interdenominational ministry. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common. And that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Jehovah, Buddha, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show. And that's to deliver the message that that being, that person I call God, that being is indeed Almighty. Today is March the 10th, 2022. I remind you that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. If there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life, I invite you to share your testimony. Post your testimony on Facebook. Join us on Zoom and speak your testimony. You know, we're going through some tough times now. And I know some folks are starting to panic. You're looking at the rate of inflation, particularly the cost of gas is going up. Folks are wondering how they're going to have gas to get to school, to get to work. Well, I'm here to tell you something. No matter how bleak things may seem, no matter how dire the situation, the God I'm here to tell you about can make a way and see you through it. The God I'm here to tell you about is indeed Almighty. So if you have some testimony, post your testimony, whether it was a health problem that you had to deal with and God worked a miracle in your life, a financial problem, a relationship problem, whatever problem you may have had, that God worked it out, made a miracle in your life. Share your testimony. You know, your testimony might be the one thing that someone that's watching the show needs to hear. Your testimony that will encourage them, that will give them strength, help them to hold on until things get better. You know, speaking about holding on, I was watching the news today and watching what's going on over there in Ukraine. And watching, it says over 1 million folks have fled Ukraine, gone into Poland and different surrounding countries. And the thought that went through my mind is that over 1 million people whose lives have been turned around just like that, just like that. Just to think about it, a month ago, those folks were riding in their cars up and down the street just like you and me, going to school, going to their jobs, going to grocery shopping. And in less than a month's time, you have hospitals being bombed, residential areas being bombed, just like that. See, that tells me don't take anything for granted. And we talk about the folks in the Ukraine. Watching television last night, we were showing the weather, how we had a tornado during snow, and just how unpredictable that was. How infrequent you have something like that occur. It just goes to show you your life can change. Just like that. It's, no matter how much control you think you have, you don't have any control. God is in control. And for every second that you're blessed with, not because of something that you earn or you deserve. I don't care how much praying you do. I don't care how much tithing you do. Nothing that you earn, nothing that you deserve. It's a gift from God. That keeps me humble, knowing that it's in God's hands. Knowing that whatever pleasure, whatever peace I have, it's spirit and only through the will of the Almighty. So having said that, let's get on with our show. And that's the purpose of the show. The purpose of this show is to deliver a message that God is Almighty. We will start out with our announcements, then testimonies, and our discussion topic tonight will be the 12 tribes of Israel. We'll actually have part 3 of our discussion. And we'll be joined by Brother Israel later on in the show, who will be leading that discussion about the 12 tribes. And as you see on your screen, something that some of you may not be aware of, but the connection between the 12 tribes of Israel and the constellations. And as you see on the screen right now, the 12 tribes, and you'll see that they have an association with particular constellations. Our words of inspiration tonight will come out of the book of Exodus, starting chapter 12, verses 32 to 51. You see on the screen right now, that's our main website, and that's www.godisalmighty.org. I encourage you, I ask you to please lock that website into your web browser, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can visit that website, and there are links to all of our social media platforms. Blog, the Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to our main website. There are links that you can just click on, and it'll take you to our social media platforms. Lafayette, Louisiana Center of the Society, that's resided over by Messenger Ryan King. We also have a center in Opelousas, that's resided over by Messenger Corey Levier. And we have a center in Central Florida, and that's presided over by Messenger Tenab L. As always, I encourage you to get your COVID vaccinations. And if you've had your vaccinations, I encourage you to get your booster. Mine Temple 49 here in the city of New Orleans. I'm sorry, in the city of Lafayette. That's presided over by Bishop John W. Milton, and that is located at 201 East Willow Street in the city of Lafayette. If you're in the area, stop by and fellowship with them. No matter what your religious persuasion, they'll make you feel at home, I'm sure, as you will enjoy yourself. Mine Temple number 28, located here in the city of New Orleans. That's presided over by Bishop Reed. Same thing, if you pass by Temple 28, no matter what your religious persuasion, it'll make you feel at home. I repeat this, and we've had this the past few weeks. I've had this up on the board. The Louisiana Workforce Commission may pay your tuition to attend certain accredited truck driving schools. To apply and for more information, please visit www.laworks.net. You can go to school and receive your CDL license, and you can become a truck driver. So if you're looking for a job, you can contact Louisiana Works. Previously recorded episodes of The Message can be watched on television in the New Orleans area on Cox Cable Orleans, Channel 76. That airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And you can always watch previously recorded episodes of The Message on our YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel is DNK Messenger. DNK Messenger. All right. Religious, spiritual, study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. How you doing this evening, brother?
Greetings, peace. I'm okay. Peace to all the viewers and gonna be checking this out. Everything's fine.
All right. And for those of you, and Brother Israel has been on the past couple of weeks. He's a contributor. He's been on the show several times in the past. There was an absence for a while, but the past couple of weeks he's been on and leading this discussion about the 12 tribes of Israel. For those of our viewers who that may not be familiar with you, brother, why don't you just give us a little bit, give our viewers a little bit more about you and how they can contact you and that kind of stuff.
How they can contact me?
Yeah, a little bit about about who you are and what you do and how they can contact.
Well, I'm an independent researcher. I have over 28 years of independent research into the occult, into world history, into metaphysics. And I led lectures here in New Orleans in 2016. I've done various I led various what I do is more teaching. I don't lead or do things like that. So I explain our culture. So I've had many opportunities to talk and share knowledge and information with various people in the city and outside of the city about life and spiritual, even religious situations. So I touch on all topics of life because I'm living. I just can't say I do this, I do that. A lot of what I do is autodidactic. I'm self-taught. And if people familiar with that, I'm self-taught. Of course, I study from accredited authors, masters, and educators. But outside of that, I'm pretty much decode and understand these things through my own intuition. And I'm here to help the people of New Orleans pushing knowledge and information forward. That's just what I do.
All right, and those of you that are in the New Orleans area, if you watch local television, particularly Cox, it's a public channel that you've seen, Brother Israel on various shows, not only on The Message, but I know that I've seen, that may have been my first exposure to Brother Israel, and that was on the show by Brother Larry Hayes. If one of our viewers is interested in having you to come participate in a study group or do some teaching, in the setting, how can they contact you, brother?
They could contact me on Facebook, or they could call my I have a business line that I could be reached at area code 504-666-6013. That's a telephone number I got from Metro. So,
All right. And your Facebook page, what's the name of your page?
Facebook page is Netcher Israel Nola. Netcher, NTCHRISRAALNOLA.
All right. So, brother, let's, and it, for the past couple of weeks when I go to edit the show to get it prepared to send to the studio, because some of our viewers may not be aware, but we do the show live on Thursdays. And then we will send this show, we will put it in a proper format and send it to the studio so that it can be aired over the television station. And every week when I'm editing it, because we're limited in time on the TV, but every week when I'm editing it, I always find that we be running short on time. There's so much information. I do the best that I can to keep from deleting any information, any critical information. But when we get into these discussions and these study sessions, just about all of the information is critical. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of time. Brother Pete, thank you for joining us on Facebook. And I'll just encourage all of our Facebook viewers to please hit the watch button, please hit the share button. I'm reminding myself to do the same thing as we speak. All right, Brother Israel, as we talked and we left off last week, that we have 13 tribes. We were able to get through, I think, 3. And our goal for this week was to go through at least 5, and that's Simon, Levi, Benjamin, Judah, and the lone female, and that's Benaiah, Adonai. Brother Israel.
Yeah, man. We was talking about the zodiac. Well, I'm talking and explaining from my point of view and what I learned about the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, what I'm calling, and what some other people call the 13 tribes, which includes the daughter Dinah by the biblical father Jacob and his wife Leah. So what I was doing is explaining that these are not, to me, they're not actual groups of people like Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, and Blacks in America. I don't look at that as no 12 tribes of Israel. My understanding is that this is symbolically representative of the zodiac signs, which makes all humans part of the 12 tribes of this so-called Israel, because we're really talking about the zodiac. So that's what I've been doing, not only talking about it, but using biblical evidence, not just talking, but using scripture to prove it.
All right. Well, let's, and while we were introducing you, I was reminding our viewers and referencing where they can go to the Bible themselves and read a little information about those 12 tribes, particularly in the book of Genesis, chapter 49. So if the particular, in this city, particular tribes that we're speaking about, and the format, the way the discussion developed over the past 2 weeks, is that we would talk about a particular tribe, the name that's associated with the tribe, and then talk about the associated zodiac sign. And it's great that we have this discussion in a serious context, because I can recall back in the 60s and 70s when the folks would talk about zodiac, one of these things like, weird, outer space type deals, fringe lunatics talking about zodiacs and what's your sign, all the rest of that. But in the context of history, in the context of science, when we talk about the zodiac signs and the constellation and the interplay amongst the constellations and life on Earth, we get rid of that association as far as the fringe left weird folks. We come down and just dealing strictly with some science. And as I've discussed on the show, that it gets to a point when you do some real serious stuff. It gets to the point where science and spirituality, you really start seeing that melding together and start using.
Exactly.
All right, brother. It's on you, my brother.
All right. Well, this is lengthy, so I'm not gonna like. Oh man, it's just lengthy. So just I would like to do is just give a synopsis on each one instead of going into detail. Like I'm gonna start off with Simon, Simeon, and Levi. And I'm saying they equal the twins, a Gemini, the couple. I'm reading from my own notes here, right? And Levi and Simeon and Levi are brethren. This is in Genesis 49:5, chapter 49, verse 5. Now, it's obvious that the others are brothers too. So why are these two singled out? And we said now we know why, because Simeon and Levi are alike. They have the same meaning as twins. Simeon, how you want to pronounce it, is derived from the Kemetic word sim, a simi, whose meaning includes the same, union, and twin, right? Levi means to join, wrap around, or the double, or something, right? So I'm just gonna stop there because I gotta talk about some other ones. But it's much more with Levi and Simeon, because in the African zodiac, that Gemini was a male and a female, and they were joining in an embracing loving position. But in the biblical sense, we get two males or two brothers. And these two brothers, how it says once again in Genesis 49:5, Simeon and Levi are brethren. They don't say no others had this connection. They're always included together, but they single these two out in particular as brothers. They don't do that with no others in that whole Genesis chapter from 1 to the end. They only single these two out as brethren in particular. And the particularity comes from the fact that they are the same. They represent the twins. They represent the Gemini concept of the stars coming from the Nile Valley, or the ancient teachings of our ancestors on Earth, right? So Simeon, or Semen, is the masculine aspect, and Levi is the feminine aspect. Because the word Simeon, Simon, or however you want to pronounce it, has the root sim in it. And as we know in the Kemetic, from me knowing this, that how it says here, once again, sim means the same, double, right? Like in Egypt, you had the word semi-toi, which is meaning the joined land, or the double land, or the connected land, semi, right? And you say his name is Simeon or Simon, however you want to pronounce it. So we're saying the word semen even has its root in this word. So I ain't gonna go too much into that. Now Levi has its root in as the feminine aspect of this zodiac Gemini twin couple original, because as you could, the word, we just use the word Levi. You take the O out, take the E out, you put an O, you take the I out, put an E, you get love. And love is mainly associated with the feminine principle. So I'm gonna stop there because I go into so much more detail, especially with these two, like 5 pages worth of stuff. But I'm gonna stop there because we gotta touch on some others. So I'm saying that Simeon and Levi represents the Gemini in original. And Simeon and Levi is encoded as a female and male principle.
All right, brother. I'm gonna do my best to refrain from making a whole lot of comments so that you have ample time to go ahead and state it.
All right. Now, the second one we're gonna go into, the fourth rather, is Benjamin. Right? Benjamin equals let's see, turn the second page. Yeah. All right. Benjamin equals Cancer, the crab. And Benjamin is a cardinal water sign. I forgot to mention about Levi being Simeon and Levi are mutable air signs for people who into that astrology signs. They know what I'm talking about. And Benjamin is a cardinal water sign, right? And Benjamin equals the Cancer, the crab. Now in Genesis, once again, I ain't making nothing up. I'm reading this out the Bible. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 9. I got 9 versions of different Bibles on my shelf, right? And we just read out King James. It says, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf, shall devour the prey, shall divide the spoil. That's Genesis 49:27, right? Now, spoil refers to stolen goods, wall boot and stuff like that. And we know what a raven like the raven birds, a scavenger type thing. And the raven in the Bible and the raven of the bird, which is spelled R-A-V-I-N in the Bible, and the bird raven is spelled R-A-V-N. They both come from the Latin rapere, which means to prey or to seize or to plunder or to tear away greedily. And that's what wolves do. They seize and tear away with their fangs. Now remember, Benjamin equals crab, the Cancer. Crab seize and tear things with their toothed claws, right? So there's a connection between these things, all right? Now, also, this Cancer is the Latin word for crab. Cancer is the Latin word for crab. And also the name of a disease which destroys and prey on people like with claw tentacles, which is a cancer. So the sign Cancer represents something that claws and rips apart. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf, shall devour the prey, shall divide the spoil. So in that, you see that even Benjamin, in that verse, in that sentence right there, in Genesis 49:27, you see that Benjamin has the Cancer qualities concept as a ravager, as a ravager, as a devourer, right? So I won't go too far into that because, like I said, I have more like 5 pages of information to back that little stuff up, proving how conceptually Benjamin is not no person. From how I teach this, it's not no person, never was. It's a concept. It's a celestial concept. And it's 2022. So hey, here we go. Now I ain't gonna stay on Benjamin because we're gonna move forward with Judah. And everybody know Judah. Judah is so obvious. I almost gotta say that. We can skip over Judah, right?
No, no, we're not gonna skip it. Go ahead with Judah.
We can skip over Judah. Everybody should know that. The lion.
Bring it up.
Okay. In Genesis 49:9, Jacob calls him two lions. In Genesis 49:9, Judah is a lion's whelp going up, and as an old lion who shall rouse him up. So he not only calling him one lion, he called his son two lions. And he called nobody else. He didn't call Benjamin a lion. He didn't call Zebulon no lion. He didn't call Issachar no lion. He didn't call Levi or Simeon no lion. He called Judah two lions, right? An old lion symbolizing the rising sun, and he called him a young lion symbolizing the setting sun. These two sons, these two lion concepts comes out of ancient Kemet, once again, of the lines of the east and the west, one of the rising sun and one of the setting sun. You know, so I'm just gonna use that verse just to prove that fact. I ain't gonna stay on Judah too long, but Judah equals Leo the lion, and lion is a fixed fire sign. You know. Now after that, here's the controversy of the whole thing, because we about to talk about Dinah, Dean, however you want to pronounce it, right?
That's fine.
Okay. Now in Genesis 30, chapter 30, verse 21, they speak of her. And let me just read. Now, like I said earlier, she was the virgin Dinah, actually, was the only daughter of Jacob and Leah in Genesis 30:21, right? Now, in Genesis 49, he blessed all his sons, but he totally skipped his daughter. No mention of her is made, right? In fact, very little is said about Dinah in the Bible, you know, but only through the etymology of her name can we get to the root of Dinah and what that's about. So if you understand etymology, you be familiar with Hebrew words and the breakdown of Hebrew words and the breakdown of ancient Nile Valley words. You could get to the etymology of Dinah, because in the ancient language, I'm about to show you something right now. In the ancient language, in the Hebrew language and the Egyptian language, certain letters were interchangeable. So in ancient Kemet, this word here, Aten, in the Nile Valley, they call him Aten. In Hebrew, that the T, in Hebrew, the T turns to a D, right? In Hebrew, this T turns to a D. So in Egypt, he's called Aten. In Hebrew, the D and the T are interchangeable in Nile Valley, period. So what the Nile Valley's called the Aten, the Hebrews called the Adon, right? Just wanted to show you that right fast. And there's hundreds and hundreds more proof like this I could prove, you know? So even with Dinah, Dana, you get the, you have Dinah right here, right?
Right.
Okay, but in Kemet, you have you have the goddess, you have the great goddess named Tenet. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
In Hebrew, her name is Dinah. In Kemet, there's a goddess, virgin goddess by the name of Tenet.
Mhm.
The D and the T are interchangeable. So Tenet turns into Dinah in Hebrew. So with that being said, you know, she's Tan is represented as a primal mother goddess of earth and a great goddess of the underworld, right? And we all know that the biggest star system out of all the zodiacs is Virgo. Like Virgo, if you know, it's bigger than the stars of Leo. It's bigger than the stars of Pisces. It's bigger than all of Virgo, as if it's the mother, right? So just the, I can't go into too much because it'll be a whole lot of stuff that I have to get into. But in reality, there are 13 tribes and there are 13 territories. This agrees with the 13 signs of the original zodiac because the feminine was a lunar zodiac. And we have, because women have 13 menstrual periods a year, right? Women have 13 menstrual periods a year. So it's symbolic of the woman being the 13. And she wasn't given a territory, but um on the picture I sent you that links the territory with the zodiac, then we didn't get into the tribe of Dan yet. We didn't get into the tribe of Dan. But Dan has two territories. You know what I'm saying? On that map I sent you that connects the land territory, how the East tribe has their territories,
Mhm.
Dan has two territories in separate locations. I wish I could show that graphic to people too. That's symbolic to the fact that one of those territories is for Dinah. You know what I'm saying? You get it? There's
Now,
two Dan because one belongs to Dinah.
what constellation is Dinah associated with?
It equals Virgo, which is a mutable earth sign.
Mhm.
Dinah is Virgo. It's the female. It's the only female. And Virgo is the only clear female astrological sign.
Uh, what you know what? Let me see if I can do something. Let's see if I can while we're talking about this. Because what I want to do now is I want to see if I can pull up that that image. I can pull that image up with the, okay, there we go. All right, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to, all right, there, now, all right. Now on here, this depiction, it has gas.
What is that?
Well, this is,
The sun? That's the sun in the middle?
right,
And the
right,
zodiac's around it? All right.
right. Yeah, that's the sun in the middle. And here in this orbit, that's the Earth. And then
All
the
right.
constellations around it.
All right.
Right? And yeah, I'm just looking, and there are different, you know, when you start studying, you'll find that there are different folks that come up and have different interpretations, different information, and that's one of the good things when we talk about the the society, and really being here to be able to share. Because as I say, this is something that I pulled up off the internet and looking at whomever it was that created this, how they uh, assigned the different constellations to the various tribes.
I think that's not showing the actual land, like the actual land of the Middle East.
Right.
You know, so I wouldn't say that's an accurate one, how I'm describing this, because it don't show the actual land.
Right.
What I'm doing right fast is actually quick scribing an actual replica of what's in one of my books that shows the actual land and how the actual land in the tribes connect, how Zebulon connects with Issachar, and Issachar is Taurus, and Pisces and Aries follow each other. Just as the zodiacs connect, the signs connect on the land is what the territory. Each territory that was subscribed to a tribe, like the tribe of Ipparam is Sagittarius. Well, Ipparam Sagittarius tribes connects directly with Leo and Gemini, Judah, or Simeon, right, in the land. So that's what I was doing right fast. And I sent you an actual picture of it. So what I'm saying, the actual land territory connects with like Nepatali here is Aries is directly connected with Zebulon, how Aries and Pisces follow each other. So in the actual land, it's even set up how the zodiac is set up. That's what I'm saying. Not exactly what you showed. And I wish I could draw a better picture for the people. But the whole land territory and how each tribe has their section, all of the 12, well, each 12 is directly connected as the zodiac.
All right. And just, we can read things, and there's so many different levels of understanding that we can
Well, I
gain.
just gave the biblical evidence. You could go to all those verses, 49 is 30 that, 49 5, 49 9, and read it again.
Right. All right, brother. The well, we've gone through the 5 that we had talked about last week. That's Simon, Simeon, Levi, Benjamin, Judah, and Dinah.
Yes.
And one of the things that is going through this, and as I was saying a second ago about there being different levels of understanding, and when I just reading through the book of Genesis in chapter 49, and reading through, and I'm just starting out, just laying out what's going on in chapter 49, that Israel, also known as Jacob, is dying. And when we read through that, and we can go back into 48 and get a little bit more understanding about it. In 48, verse 21, and Israel said to Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow.
Yeah, So you just gave more evidence. You just gave more evidence proving that this is talking about celestial things. This ain't talking about no human stuff. If you understand, I'm not looking at the Bible literally. I'm a decoder of this for the people. This is coded. You just can't read this and know this, and that's just how it is. And the truth of it is, if people run around here thinking that the 12 tribes of people, they're misled. Yeah, I'm saying they're misled. You just read in 48, they're going to be brought into their land. Jacob is dying. When the sun set, the stars comes out. It's that simple. When the person died, their children take over. It's that simple.
Just a little bit, and I said, I've studied a little bit of Spanish. I've studied a little bit French, but to say I know those languages, no. You put a sentence in front of me. If it's some little basic stuff, I might be able to understand some of the basic words, but put a whole book in front of me, I wouldn't know what it was. So I put something written in Greek in front of me, couldn't tell you what it was. And I'm saying that as an analogy, and an analogy that you can put something in front of someone, and depending upon their level of understanding, they will get some meaning out of it, whereas someone else will not. And we've talked about understanding and different levels of understanding, seeing things and understanding things with the carnal mind and as a carnal man, and understanding things spiritually, on a spiritual level. And I'm just trying to follow up. And I want to thank my wife. I see my wife has joined us on Facebook. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. I just want to follow up. And I want to follow up because what you said just now, as far as the sun setting, and there are, I said earlier about how in the 60s, 70s, there was this wave of this new age thinking, and with astrology, and just about any newspaper, got to the point, any newspaper that you opened up, you would have a little column in there about astrology and what's your sign, and this is the kind of day you have, and all this kind of stuff. And it got to the point where it was ridiculed. But what we are reading here in the Bible, we're reading in the Bible, and I'm look at chapter 49, verse 1, where Jacob, also known as Israel, Jacob is predicting the future. Jacob, look what it says. It said, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I will tell you what's going to befall you. And he goes through each of the tribes, each of the sons, these names, and he tells exactly, he gives some attribute of them. This is what's going to befall them. Now, one of the things, and this is something the Spirit, the Spirit just blessed me just a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago. The brother that's the astrophysicist, Brother Dyson, back astrophysicist, quantum physicist, and he well respected, and he's used a term about stardust, that we're all really composed of stardust. And when you study physics, when you study science, it does come down to that point. Whereas science teaches that we are indeed, every human being is composed of molecules and atoms. And at one point throughout the infinity of time, those atoms were not part of human flesh, but were part of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. Understand what I'm getting at. That makes sense that if indeed the physical mass, the physical particles that make up this body, if indeed they were part of some star that still exists, is it hard to understand, hard to accept the fact that that mass that's out there still has some kind of attraction to the part of it that's now encased, making up this human body?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah.
brother?
I have one more thing. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. I'm not gonna go into detail on that, but yeah, that's correct. Now we have this word saba here. Saba, a saber, put different vowels in, get different pronunciation, get other meaning. But in ancient Egypt, the Nile Valley Kemet, this word here meant door, it meant teacher, and it meant star. This one word, sabah, it means door, teacher, and star. Now think about that. What does a door do to you in your life, and all the different slogans about doors opening and closing and new beginnings and ending? And what is a teacher? It's a star. These all are the same thing. Just want to show you something right fast. This is not, because you mentioned Eric Dyson, this goes beyond him, my understanding. This goes back to our ancestors been telling us, been showed us that these stars are teachers and doors. They're not just what you think. So I just want to drop that on the viewers right fast, because I know it's running into that hour and hour.
Right. Yeah, we're actually at the very end of that hour. But brother, if you have another 30 seconds to close us out, and then I'll go in and have some very, very brief words of inspiration.
Yeah, I just want to say that we will be ending this next week, and as you say, people can go back and watch a review and go over and do their own research and see what I'm really talking about. And everybody just protect yourself and enjoy life.
All right. And
Learn about the crazy stuff.
once again, that Facebook page is
Netcha Israel Nola, NTCHRISRAALNOLE.
all right, brother. Thank you, as always, brother Israel. Thank you, and I look forward for us continuing this discussion about the 12 tribes next week. Thank you, brother. Peace.
Peace, thanks.
All right, we're going to go into our words of inspiration, and before we do, I sincerely want to thank the brother for sharing his knowledge with us. And as we go into these words of inspiration, they'll be brief. when we were discussing about, as you heard the brother talk about star and door and teacher, there are different levels of knowledge. And one of the things about this ministry, its name, the Society of Knowledge. And we speak about the different levels just to get some understanding. Teach about the different levels. When you start school, you start with arithmetic. And that's learning how to just count. Then you learn how to add. And then you learn how to subtract. And once you have a grasp of that concept, you learn how to multiply and so forth and so forth. And you go to algebra, geometry, trigonometry, different levels of understanding. And when it comes down to spirituality, when it comes down to understanding who and what you are, after you've gone through those different levels of knowledge, and you come to know, you come to have the knowledge that you are indeed not only stardust, but you come to know that you are indeed a part of the One, a part of the Almighty. And when you come to that level of understanding, a lot of the fears and tribulations you might have start to fall by the wayside, because you know that indeed God is Almighty and God's will be done. So on that note, may that be inspiring. May that inspire you to peace, no matter whatever you hear in this upcoming week, no matter whatever befalls you, even if it's a calamity that befalls you. It's my prayer that God Almighty blesses you the same way He blessed Daniel in that lion's den. May God Almighty bless you and yours with peace. Until we meet again here next week on The Message, may God Almighty bless you with peace.